Hey there! Did you know we have a Patreon? You can get early access to all of our content with any amount pledge. Consider it and spread the word. Now on to the show. Hello there, guys, and welcome to another episode of The Usual Spot, a podcast where we talk about video games, movies. We're gonna talk more about movies eventually, just in case. But for now, video games, movies, and entertainment in general. Today we're gonna be talking about the recent Global Game Jam that happened in January, from the 25th to 27th, I believe. Okay, thank you. And yeah, basically talk about what happened in the Game Jam. For those of you who have checked out our other episodes, you will know that we actually started doing the Usual Spot by talking about the previous year's Game Jam with the organizers of the Game Jam. We talked about many things that maybe should have changed or that maybe should have been done better, I guess, for the next one. So I guess it will be interesting for those of you who checked out that episode to see what happened in this year's Game Jam, so that you know if we actually were able to do some of the things, or yeah, basically how it compared, right? But for those of you joining for the first time, then yeah, we're gonna be talking about the event, particularly the one or the site in Puerto Rico, and actually we're gonna be talking about three sites that were happening in Puerto Rico simultaneously. The one from San Juan, the one from Fajardo, and the one from Mayagüez, which is a first for Puerto Rico, I believe, where many places were doing a game jam at once. So yeah, many interesting things happened, and yeah, I'm your host, like usually. My name is Gary Casillas. I was one of the organizers for the event in San Juan. So I wasn't one in the previous episode, but I was one for this one. And with me, I have some guests who are also organizers of the different events. So guys, why don't you introduce yourselves? And if you can say like the site you were organizing, right, for. Particularly, I know, Carlo, in your case, it's kind of difficult, but you can basically say anything that you want in that case. But yeah, let's start with you, Carlo. Like,
right.
introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Carlo Rodriguez. I was kind of overseeing the general operation among the San Juan jam site, the Maya West jam site, and the Fajardo jam site. And I was also trying to get a jam site going in Ponce. Unfortunately, that was not able to
We're almost
happen
there.
this
Almost
time.
there.
Almost. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Then Manny.
Yeah, my name is Manny Lopez. I was one of the organizers from the San Juan Global Game Jam, and I work I'm Softworks, one of from the indie companies here in Puerto Rico. And my company wants to help the community get bigger and expand to expose our talent here in the island.
Okay, yeah, perfect. And by the way, yeah, Carlo and I, Misael, by the way, we're all part of Batú Games as well. So we're another company locally from the island. Anyway, Kevyn?
Yeah, my name is Kevyn Arroyo. I was the site organizer for the Fajardo Global Game Jam. And I'm a full-time student. I do not work for any company. So I'm broke, have no money. We had a small team, first-timers there, but we managed to prepare one game.
Okay, that's awesome. Then it's interesting because then we're gonna have a little bit of a view from somebody that actually participated in it, because we weren't able to participate in it in any way. We were very busy planning everything out. Yeah. And last but certainly not least, Misael.
Hey, my name is Misael Torres. I was one of the organizers with Batú Games for the Global Game Jam in San Juan. And yeah, I mostly just told people when the food was up and popped up, wherever they were, see how they were doing, and see how their game was going. I was general cheerleader for the event. It
Come
was
on, man.
a lot of
You
fun.
help a lot. You help a lot. Come on.
But it
It's an
was great.
important
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
That was great.
So just to start, right? Like I do want to talk about Carlo, this idea that you had, right, for having the event happen in many different places. Like why? I mean, I know why, but maybe you can maybe explain a little bit of what you were thinking when you thought about the idea of doing it that way.
Yeah. So I mean, this was not the first Global Game Jam that I organized, nor was the one from the year before.
Yeah.
But I also did one 2016, and each of those Global Game Jams, there was always a kid from Ponce that came up to the metro area to participate.
Yeah.
And so, and then like in the further game jams, which was more popular than the first one I made, organized. Well, I noticed there was like people from different areas on the islands, like the east and west, and also south, and they were also interested in participating.
Okay.
Or at least like potentially being able to visit the place and see what's going on, how a game jam actually works.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make this more accessible. I believe I mentioned that in the previous podcast.
Yeah.
So I wanted it more accessible throughout the island. So I tried contacting associations from the east side, the west side, and also the south, with your help, obviously.
Yeah.
And so we could like try to help them to get a jam site going on. I ended up helping Kevyn create the association in Fajardo in order to get the jam site running. So that was part of the process. But just mainly to make it more accessible for those who cannot simply just travel to the metro area, because that's where the majority of the events usually take place in Puerto Rico. And I imagine it's kind of a drag, especially since it's an event that takes place in a whole weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're very far away from home. In those cases. I also think that I think you told me this, but there was the idea also to kind of involve more people in this type of stuff. Like not only being able to be, for the events to be more accessible, but for example, Kevyn, like now you basically organize, right, a site or an event with Carlo. So I don't know if Carlo hadn't kind of tried to do that. Maybe you wouldn't have had the opportunity to take a shot at something like this.
Exactly.
So the idea, I think, Carlo, and you confirmed this, I don't know, but like it was also to kind of bring new people into the fold.
Definitely.
So
I
also
part of like contacting other associations and try to get them more involved.
Exactly.
Video game industry.
I remember that specifically because I particularly like that part. Not I mean, of course, the part of being more accessible is super important. But I do believe that what we were able to do with this event was also the idea that we actually were able to see the community kind of grow in some ways. And I really like that part of what we were able to accomplish. But yeah, we're gonna get more into that as we move along. And yeah, again, as Carlos said, we were able to kind of make a site of course, in San Juan, and then one in Fajardo, and then one in Mayagüez. We were almost really close to making one in Ponce, and it just didn't pan out. Actually, the person that Carlo mentioned about that was in Ponce that usually comes to the metro area had to go to the metro area in the end. So sadly, we weren't able to do that. But yeah, he was actually, like, we asked him, we told him that we were trying to do one in Ponce, and he was like super ecstatic about the idea that he didn't have to go all the way to participate in the event. So clearly we knew something, or we were trying to do something that was beneficial and super interesting. So before we move just like really into the 2019 event, Carlo and Manny, like you were both in the previous event. How does this one compare to that one? In that case, like, is there some things that happened in this one that you felt were done better? Is there some things that didn't pan out as you guys wanted? Because of course I know what you guys said right in the first episode, but I wasn't there, so my ability to compare is not perfect, I guess. Like, I only know what I experienced in this one, and I believe we accomplished a lot of things, but I don't know if you guys see it differently. So, I mean, Manny, in your case, like, how did you see it, like, compared with the previous one?
To the previous one of next year, last year, right?
Yeah.
It was more organized, and I think there were more people than the last year.
Okay.
The place that we had the event, it was like fancier, and we had a lot of more space.
Yeah,
for everyone to feel a little bit more comfortable, and it was really I think a smooth way to organize the whole event. Like, everyone was happy with everything, the food,
Yeah.
Everything about the food, and the places, the offices that they could work, and they had their own space. That was a perfect touch for the whole event. So being like the organizer and working with a lot of people is sometimes a little bit rough and hard to keep everyone happy. But we had almost, I think, 60 people participating in the event.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any complaint about the whole event. Like, everyone was happy. Everyone was enjoying this event, and they really liked it and everything.
Yeah, I agree. Carlo, like, was your I mean, you weren't necessarily there in the San Juan site.
Yeah.
But you kind of saw what people said, or at least what we were able to tell you, right? Did it go as you wanted, or again, was there anything particularly that you guys did in the previous one that you have wished was done the same way, in that sense?
I definitely think it was much more organized, and that we were able to obtain the sponsors in a more timely manner.
To an extent, yeah.
To an extent, yeah. But compared to last time, definitely better, much improvement.
I mean, to be fair, last time you guys had to change the site what was it, like 2 weeks or 1 week before the event?
Yeah, it was like 2 to 3 weeks. It was a very last minute. So yeah, that was, and it was like shortly after Maria as well. So that was even tougher. So that, in that regards, I think that we did well, at least from what I've heard and from what people have said, that we did a much better job in that regard. Okay. However, regarding numbers, I was hoping for higher amount of people.
Yeah, definitely.
To be honest, in all 3 sites, not just San Juan.
Yeah.
And also regarding coverage, which is something that I wanted to really work on.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we weren't able to actually have any major media outlet covered event.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest, that was pretty disappointing.
No, yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, and by the way, like what you mentioned, Manny, like us having a lot of space, it's interesting because that was something that happened. And again, we're kind of using this, just in case for people listening, we're kind of using this as a way for us to kind of discuss the event and to kind of do like a post-mortem of it, so that you guys understand kind of the wackiness that ensues when we're trying to plan this kind of event. For example, like one of the sponsors literally told us that they will be a sponsor, I believe, like a day before. I mean, Misael, right? Like, when did they tell you that they were gonna go for it?
So it was around the weekend before. Yeah, so a weekend before there was a little bit of miscommunication, but yeah, so they a weekend before, but we managed, to get everything, and they managed to get everything in time.
No, yeah, definitely.
For for the next weekend. It was it was great. All the sponsors were great, at least the ones I worked with, and
No, yeah,
we have it wouldn't have been possible without them.
No, yeah, exactly. But yeah, my point was that like many of those things just happen by kind of like we're just hoping that they happen.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because we didn't have any confirmation, and the space in particular, like the only reason why I knew we had all the space was because of two things. One, that there was an article that said that we had like more like they talked about the event, and they said that we had the whole building for us basically. But I had never we were never told that when we first went to the to the place of where the event took place.
Yeah, for the meeting.
For the meeting, Carlo and I went there, and they told us that we only had one the big office where basically was the hub, right, of the event, and just maybe another office in the first floor, and we were supposed to fit the 80 people that we were going for there, right? And again, that's what we kind of we were basically planning for that, right? Planning for those two offices, and really planning for the main office, right? Because like the other one was a maybe. So when I read that on the article, I was like, wait, that doesn't seem like what they wrote, right? And I think that we asked them through emails, right? But it was kind of like an answer of, yeah, I guess it could be done. But it was never like a confirmation. So we were kind of going, so what do we actually have? And then when we went to the, literally the day of the event, we went, or it was, I think it was the day of the event that they actually confirmed to me, yeah, you have like the second floor and the first floor all for you guys. Like every single place that is there, you can use except some offices, but essentially every single place. So the fact that the event had a lot of space was also like a last minute thing. So it's one of those things that you just go like, again, you try to make it as organized as possible, and probably people that went there didn't even notice. But we were kind of like going, we didn't even know exactly what we could use, and it's just interesting that it works out.
It made
that
all
way.
the difference in the world, though. So yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. Again, that's something, as you were saying, Manny. Like people were really really liked about the event, and it was something that just happened like that last day. Like, I mean,
the day before that, we were preparing the tables and putting the chairs and everything. You have the whole building. What? Yeah, that office, that's yours. So, okay, thank you for everything. How are we gonna do this? How are we gonna set everything up? Yeah, that was an experience to do that. Like Carlo said in the moment before, really I expected the 100 people. I guess that were the tickets that we had available for the event. I think, right?
Yeah,
I think we set it up to 90 people.
In the end, I believe,
that was something that I felt bad about, because I really was hyped to see a lot of people there, like see that number, like see 90 people. Like in my mind, I was asking myself how I'm gonna feed 90 people in the whole building. Like how everyone's gonna feel comfortable, because not like being in an event that you're going by 5 hours and staying and like enjoying the event and then going to your house. No, you're gonna stay there for 48 hours, 9 days, and like working with 90 people is not easy. Trying to find them a place to sleep or to feel comfortable and put their stuff and everything is not an easy task to do. But at least we did a great job with all the people that went to the event. Like we had food and everything was like, I don't know you guys, but everything went perfect, even though we had some hiccups on the way and something didn't went the way we wanted. But everything at the last minute just was perfect.
No, yeah, yeah, I agree, it's interesting because I guess we can use this as a segue to go into like what happened right in the event, and in both sides, because well, again we don't have representation right here from Mayagüez, right? But we can talk about Fajardo and San Juan, and yeah, I agree with that completely. Like we made a plan and it just worked, right? I guess it would have been interesting, as you were saying, right? Like, what would have happened if the 90 people had actually gone to the event? Uh, but I do believe that we were prepared for that. Like everything that all the sponsors that we talked to, we basically prepared for. Yeah, for an 80-person event because the other people were late jammers, right? That we had to create, right, to allow more people to actually enter, because there were many like very good, amazing developers that weren't able to join, and we had to again all the tickets sold out like just in case, right? I mean I guess sold out is a very weird way of putting the fact that they were free, right?
They were all taken.
Yeah, so they were all taken, reserved, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought that people were taking it seriously, right? And that everybody was gonna go there. So we were prepared for 80 people, and I believe that. I mean, in the end, everybody that actually went there kind of came out better for it because they were able to eat a lot more.
Yeah, I remember all the PO of boxes of pizza that people left there because everyone was full.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that you took like 5 boxes of pizza or something like that. How many boxes did you took to your house?
No, I kind of I personally brought like maybe 2. But the other ones I gave to people. Like I was going like, "Do you want a whole pizza?"
Yeah, I took one. Yeah.
I stayed on the event the 2 days sleeping, and at 4 a.m. in the morning, people were asking for pizza, and I was like, yeah, I have like 2 boxes there. Like, you want me to heat them up? Yeah, sure, go ahead. And they were happy about that.
Oh yeah. But by the way, we do have to mention that the place where we made the event is called the PR Science Technology and Research Trust. Of course, here in Puerto Rico. And basically, they were able to provide us with access to a microwave and a fridge. So that was amazing because we were able to kind of. We didn't have to buy any ice. we were able to kind of put it there and just have it cold for people. And as you were saying, like in the case of people having stuff that was already cold because they just arrived late or something, we were able to heat it up again. So I think that also helped to the quality, of the food that we were able to provide. So I have to mention that because they didn't have to do that and they were able to accommodate us in that way. So yeah, we have to say thank you in that sense to the place in particular. So again, the event was really interesting for me. Again, this was my first time actually doing an event per se. I just never thought that I would be good at it because I didn't think that it was necessarily something that I was particularly good at. But and particularly because I spend most of my time in the local development industry trying to just keep Batu afloat, right? Like the company. And we were kind of all our time was spent on our company, so I didn't think I would have time to kind of dedicate right to any other effort, I guess, in that sense. But eventually, I was able to kind of talk with Carlo, and we talk about the idea of let's try to make this event like if Batu was kind of right like planning it. Because I remember that something that you guys mentioned in the previous podcast was that you will have love for companies, to be kind of more active in the actual organization of the event, and we're the ones behind the event, right? And we were able to kind of make it about Batu and atmosphere, right? Kind of joining forces to make the event happen. Which I believe that also help a lot in the case of, for example, like whenever I talk with people and sponsors, and I don't know if that helped actually. I don't really know if that actually did anything, but I was able to talk to them as companies, not necessarily as just people that were trying to make this happen. And as you were saying, Misael, like we basically were able to, or I don't know, I think Misael and Carlo, you both mentioned it, but we were kind of able to get a lot of sponsors, right? For many of the foods in the event. Some sponsors didn't pan out that we wish could have said yes, and we know could have said yes. But in the end, I believe we were able to kind of provide everything except maybe one of the foods that we really wanted to, but weren't able to provide. But in general, again, I don't know how much that helped, but I remember that we kind of did it in that way, and that let me particularly be able to kind of go through the process. And I guess we'll talk a little bit more about how it was for each one of us, right? But Misael, this was also, right, your first time doing an event, and I know you particularly had like a very like I could see in your face that when you get excited about something, you it's very obvious, and you seem very like pumped about the idea of being part of it, and I could see that in your face here because you I remember that at some point we were like Manny and I were talking, and you just came up to me and were like, "Man, there's like this group of people that are doing this awesome game." And you were kind of explaining what they were doing, and then you went away and then came back and told us the same thing about another group that was also working. And
Yeah.
and I was like, wow, like you're really interested in this. So how was it for you?
So yeah, no, it was definitely my first game jam ever. I had never taken part, and sometimes a lot of the times that I had the opportunity to go, either I just felt like not capable, or that I couldn't collaborate as much, or like contribute as much as perhaps some people.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even give it a chance, but I could see, even in this event, I saw people that felt that, and it was a big deal that, not everyone made it to the end of the event.
Yeah.
But the fact that they were there, and the fact that the people that were there that still felt that, since the beginning, and still maybe weren't sure that they maybe, were giving as much as they would like, even throughout it, or middle or the end. The fact that they got through it was a big deal. And I was just, every time I went to visit a group, I was just amazed at the work they were doing. And it was even more so like on Sunday, where they were all finishing up, or I should say, like really crushing and rushing to try to get, a prototype out. It was just inspiring to me, because it took, I don't know, it felt a lot of courage just, joining up. Some groups were ready, they knew who they were going to work with, and some had like amazing chemistry, but not all groups were like that. And regardless, every single group worked and dealt with their issues in such a way that they managed to get some of the game or most of the game out. And I don't know, the experience was amazing. The passion that everyone had, the amounts of energy that they just, they went through to accomplish what they did. It was really inspiring. And that was the event. The event was, for me, I think it did, I was helping out wherever I could. But I left really inspired by every single one. Everyone taught me, like how important it is to just go through with it, you know, and
True, yeah.
And it was an amazing experience. Yeah.
No, yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned that because I do believe that for me, like being here in the first time, it was interesting that I saw people going through some of the things that I've gone through while developing games, but like in a very contained, or not contained, but like a very small way, because they're not able to create like this big game, right, in the event. They have to constrain it in many ways. But it was like a microcosm of what actually happens in development. And sometimes they had these problems. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know where you're at because it's happened before to me. So I was able to tell them, no, this is part of it. Like this thing that's going on right now is literally part of of the process. So you have to just get through it. And again, it was really interesting that, as you were saying, like it's very inspiring. And at the same time, again, I believe that they were able to. I mean, some of them were actually like this was literally their first time making a game. Like they were they were kind of around game making, but never got together to make a game. And they got the experience, right? And most of them, if not all of them, basically told me they will do it again. So that was the idea, right, of the event, and I believe that was super awesome. So and yeah, but before we move too much into the San Juan event, Carlo and Kevyn, like how again, I know that from what I know, right, I know that you expected maybe more people to go to your event, but how was the process of? I mean, I know that the process per se was not super easy to make it happen, from what Carlo told me. But in general, like, how was the experience for you guys? And I guess that Kevyn, you haven't talked that much, right? You haven't had that much of a chance to say much. So if you, from your perspective.
Okay, so we were expecting about 13 people, and at the end, the most we had at the moment was 6 people, counting myself in.
Okay.
The process was actually very, very hard for us, since it was the first time organizing such an event, and especially since we united the association with this, we managed to get the help from the vice president and the other 2 students that are with me as well in there.
Yeah.
But we didn't pay much attention to it by November or December. And that, I guess, is a big mistake, because if we would have moved more, like try to promote it from the start, from the very beginning, I guess we could have gotten way more people. We started the promotion by mid-December, early January, and that was very, very late. Carlo had to step in and actually just get a move on, guys. We are late. We have to do this. We were very, very lazy on the matter, but I'm actually grateful that we could actually do it. The few people we had, but we had a good time there.
Yeah,
we actually learned a lot. I tried to practice Unity on December, and we actually ended up using Game Maker.
Okay,
but
nice.
Yeah, because it was a easier engine to work with the amount of people we had, and I guess everyone had its role. Even though we were a little group, we had to divide the roles to work by people, but we managed to do it.
Okay. Yeah, Carlo, what was your perspective on the experience on Fajardo?
Yeah, I mean, it was as Kevyn, I was hoping for at least 15 people, so we can have a couple 2 or 3 games going on.
Yeah.
Fortunately, not all of them were able to. Well, we weren't able to reach that number.
Yeah.
But on the plus side, we were able to accomplish at least a game. Pretty solid, if I may say.
Thanks.
So and I'm not sure where the other kid was from. I think there was one kid from the University of Humacao, Puerto Rico, Humacao, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was pretty interesting. I didn't expect like many people outside of La Inter de Fajardo
Yeah.
per
Yeah.
se.
Yeah.
And he was actually like one of the one of the core members within the team.
He designed the sound, some character designs and stuff.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. So that was pretty neat. I guess one thing that was slightly, I guess, kind of thrown back or taken back was because like some of the people that went there, they went without any equipment.
Yeah.
And so so it's just like, okay, like they just gave feedback every now and then, but all in all, like game development and you require a lot more assistance than just brief feedback from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was only like a couple of them. So I'm not sure if that was just like either they weren't able to bring their equipment or just lack of equipment per se.
Yeah.
Originally, we were trying to get a room that already had computers, but we weren't able to due to time constraint of when we started asking for requesting space.
Yeah.
Since even then, like it was tough enough to get the entire weekend to host this jam site because usually the university closes completely on Sundays. So we had that factor to keep in mind.
Okay. Yeah.
See, what
That's
else?
definitely something. Also, the computers. That's something that us at San Juan, definitely for another event. I'll definitely look forward, and we can definitely look forward to improve. And that's that some people that came were not, they didn't have equipment. So definitely something that might be improved. Maybe some units for landing or so. But even then, the lack of equipment did not stop some people, which something we can talk about later. But yeah.
No, yeah, like it's interesting that you mentioned that about the guy from Macau because you can then you clearly see who really wants to do this, right? And that's a really interesting experience and something that we want people to really do. Again, it's really interesting that you mentioned it that way because again, I didn't expect that to happen either. So the fact that you're telling me that it happened is really, really awesome because it means that it works somehow, right? Like the idea that they know that such an event was happening, right? On the part of the island, and the fact that again you were constrained by many things, you weren't really able to confirm the site until very late. So that already, that's basically, that's very bad for awareness, right?
Definitely.
Of it happening. Again, you had a very intimate, not in that sense, but intimate in the sense that you were able to kind of all come together and work on the same game in that sense. So you had a very different experience, I guess, from ours. But in the end, you were able to really. I mean, I don't know, Kevin, about you, but have you made games before this event?
No, I practiced some a bit.
Okay.
Making some objects move on a plane and stuff.
Okay.
But never a finished game per se.
Okay. Well, yeah, then basically that was the point, right? That was the point for this in this event, so people had that opportunity to really have something, right? Have something that was more than just an idea. It was actually something that people could play in some way. And I remember that there were many people that were kind of didn't really want to show their game at the end of the event because they were like, no, it's not good enough. And I was like, you had 2 days, 2 days to make a game. Like it's never gonna look amazing.
It's not AAA worthy.
Yeah. I mean, To be fair, again, I like the fact that they were there because they were amazing. But in our side, there were two guys that were like AAA level, right? Like they were, they have worked on some stuff before, and one of them even worked on the Venom movie. So they're in the big leagues in that sense. And even then, like they told us that they anyway, that's another conversation. But the problem is that that they like. When people went, we actually did a mixer stream, and we went through every single person and each group, and basically talked with them about what their game was, and kind of showed what they were working on. And again, we had that experience, but many people that were going around and playing or play testing games or checking out what other people were doing also had the same experience. But when you went to those guys' table and saw their game, like they were working, like their game seems like a demo for a game that you could easily see on a PSN or a PlayStation Network or Xbox or something that you could potentially buy. I actually remember that when they presented somebody. We let people ask questions, right? And the first question was, "So when are you gonna release the game?" And they were like, "Yeah, I don't know, like maybe eventually." I guess. But again, what I was going for was that I know that some people didn't. Again, the what I really wanted from them to take from them, right? From people to take from their game, was that they were. If they kept working on stuff, right, they will maybe be able eventually to get to their level, right, and do what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that some people were kind of put off by it, not because of the fact that they were doing well or that they were really good at what they were doing, but at the fact that their game didn't look as that other game, right?
Yeah.
And again, I love the fact that it didn't stop anybody. Like, as far as I understand it, like, even though they knew that their game wasn't necessarily gonna be, in terms of visuals and all that stuff, up to par with them, and they were able to do a lot with a little bit amount of time. The other groups didn't give up; they just kept working. And to be fair, like the other games that they were able to create, they were also really awesome. In particular, there was a game that kind of took everybody by surprise. I mean, so you know which one I'm talking about. One with the chicken. Or the no, it's not the chicken. It's the chick, I believe. And again, it's such a.
It was one guy. It was just one.
Just one guy, and I think he was the only one from the whole from the whole game jam that kind of understood the constraints, right, of having to make a game in just 2 hours, in just 2 days, and he was able to literally basically make a game, like not a complete version because he had to make more levels.
Yeah, he did 5 levels.
5 levels, but he was able to do something really contained and something that you could release tomorrow, to be honest.
And everyone wanted to play.
Yeah, like when he showed the game, everybody was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you created that!" And I couldn't believe he created that. I was also kind of like taken aback because I was. Again, I didn't expect anybody to really finish a game there, and there was him, right? That basically showed me, I have this game, and it's basically playable, and and the mechanics all kind of work, and basically I just have to work with a little bit of some hiccups and stuff like that. But again, I could see that game actually just in the market and people playing it, and people will probably love it.
It was so simple, and yet I remember when he presented it during the stream. It was sent to me, and I was like, he started showing me the levels, and he handed me the phone where he had the demo, and I went through all the levels he had done, and it was just so engrossing. I just wanted to play. And it was so simple. It was like a platforming jumping game. Exactly. And it was still so nice. You had it was, I think, what you were saying, like that encapsulation of what we were trying to do. It felt very pure. That game felt for me very apart from the fact that it was pixel art, and that the mechanic was just so simple, and because it was so simple, he was the whole thing. I think one of the things he had to work perhaps on. It would be great to get his opinion on this.
Yeah.
Are the levels, on the puzzle design, and it was just it felt so pure, that type of game making. But yeah, it was great.
And I think that he had something that not many people have in that sense, and it's he understood the constraint, and he made something that was able to be done, by the time he had. And that's not easy. Like, let me tell you, like, that's not easy at all for any developer to do. Usually when people tell you a game's gonna take a year, it's gonna take a year and a half or something like that to be really done or something. So again, it's just again, we saw stuff like that, and there are many other games that we could potentially mention, but we will be probably here all day.
But we should definitely go through a little, a couple of them, perhaps briefly. Each one of them definitely demonstrated uniqueness, and it was just a lot of fun, watching every group where they got, because sure, well, the shit game was definitely, it felt almost complete, and what it was, it was impressive, what other people shot for, and even where they got, it was, oh well, hey, if you had, let's say, a week, you would definitely have something, But it was it was a lot of fun, and everyone, it was it was.
No, and to be fair, like there was even a team that at the very end everything kind of broke for them. Like they had something that they wanted to show, and literally like just minutes before uploading, something happened. Like I don't remember exactly what happened, but there was like some assets that just disappeared or something that just broke. And
the thing was that they were using source control. And someone pushed some information to the server, and someone else pushed something else, and it got corrupted, and it broke everything. So trying to work together, like if you have a team and you wanna like everyone work on the same level at the same time, like having source control is a good thing, but it has their hiccups when you don't have good communication, because you can break everything. Easy.
Yeah, definitely.
You still need organization when using that.
Yeah,
it's not a magical tool in that sense. But yeah, again, I just because again we don't have a lot of time left for the podcast, so if we're gonna go through the games, we should do it kind of quickly. But again, this is not against any of the games. We just kind of mentioned some of the experiences that we had with some of the games that just took us kind of by surprise, and it took everybody by surprise, because those games, when they were presented, as you were saying, right, Misael, everybody was kind of like, what? How were you able to do that? That's not the norm. So there was a game, and again, it was really interesting because the theme was what home means to you. And I remember that when I saw the theme at the beginning, I thought the theme was a little bit generic, but at the same time, it's so like what home means to you is so personal that it will definitely become very different.
It will have different variations.
Yeah, very different variations of what games came out, and we saw that, like, basically people. Some of them didn't necessarily go for what home meant to them specifically, but they did go for what home meant to specific animal or specific person or specific being, I guess you could say. So, for example, we had one where it was a turtle trying to get back to the water, to the ocean, and that was really interesting. We had one. That I kind of get confused a little bit about exactly what it was, but I know it was about a war veteran, right? And that he was kind of trying to cope with And again, this is the type of thing that I was saying, that people get so deep with this, and
Oh yeah.
they really.
I love that team. So even from day one, I remember
Yeah.
there were these people that came in and they were artists and they didn't have equipment, so they had a computer to work on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And this team improvised like big time.
Oh
And
yeah,
I love
exactly.
that. I just enjoy going through the table. And so what they did is that the artists actually drew on paper, and then it was scanned and added as art assets on Unity,
Yeah.
and then added to the game. So it had this very hand drawn, literally, very definitely very physical feel to the game.
Yeah, true that.
And it was about this war veteran of trying to, coming back home and having all this, this PTSD going on.
Yeah.
And in a way is, his way of trying to go back home. I want to, but having to deal with this, these memories
Exactly.
that he had, in this condition. And it was really good. Just the theme they went with, and also just how they managed to accomplish it. Really improvising and just getting the game to a workable state with what they had.
Exactly. No, yeah, that was really interesting. When they told me the idea, I was kind of like, wow, that's a game that should probably be made, because it's a very interesting idea. It's more than a game. It's basically like just an exploration of what PTSD, right? It's kind of like, and we also had another game that was about somebody that was lost, and they basically find a cell phone, and the cell phone is able through the cell phone they get more information, right, about their path and themselves.
Yeah.
And through the use of the apps in the phone, they're able to kind of try to find their way to like the only thing they were able to really to create in the event was going from point A to point B, right? But the way they had to go there was kind of like a maze, and you had to use the phone to get there, and that was very interesting. Again, something I didn't expect. The two guys that I mentioned were like just amazing at what they did. They created a game about was a creature, because it wasn't necessarily like a human, right? And the whole world was basically in black and white. But the more you either got stuff from your home, I believe, or you got closer to it, the world started to get more colorful. So it was kind of like as you get closer to your home, you just see things differently, and I don't know, happier, I guess. And yeah, that was really awesome in that sense. We also had a team of, and that's a team that were working for the first time on a game, as well, I guess, in your case, Kevyn, right? And they literally, I don't know exactly how it happened, but they basically told me that they wanted to use this event to basically test themselves out on what they could accomplish if they were together. And
was this the teabagging ghost? Was this a teabagging?
Haunted home.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And that was about a ghost that was in a house, and the ghost was trying to get back some of its objects from his previous life. And that was basically the idea, that it was trying to get back those objects because it was trying to kind of get stuff from his home, right? Have something from his home when in the afterlife, I guess you could say. So he remained as a ghost trying to get that stuff back, and it was kind of like a platformer kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
And there were it was really, really interesting, the idea. Nobody else did something like that. There are many games. I'm trying to remember all of them.
Yeah, and they got pretty ahead. It was a little bit of a shame that they didn't manage to add audio to it. Because
No,
this team, their
they
strength
actually
was.
added audio to it. The
Oh,
problem
but didn't.
was, we had some problems with the with
Yeah,
the
technical difficulties.
Yeah,
Yeah,
technical
well,
difficulties.
it happens to everyone. It was a shame because definitely I could tell. These guys were great.
No,
with
yeah,
music.
and there are two or maybe there were many of those in that group that were really good at making music. So I was really, and I was able to listen to the music, but not everybody
Oh no,
was.
I wasn't.
No,
Right,
they
so
actually
you
did something
got
really
that.
cool
Yeah.
with that. Yeah. We also had we had two games that kind of explore something similar, but it wasn't exactly the same. They were both basically about. I believe one of them was a child, right?
Finding memories.
Finding memories in like this landscape. And
So they through the forest, and they were like grabbing memories. Like as they went through forest, they found more memories.
Exactly. And that was really interesting because it looked really beautiful. So that was really cool that they were able to do that. And then there was another one, which was with. It wasn't like people; they were like creatures, or maybe people with masks. And that was really cool because they were able to use.
Vejigante.
The Vejigantes, which are like a very, something from Puerto Rico that we cherish a lot, and it's part of our culture. And they were able to use that for the game, and I believe that their idea was that each mask could be different. But of course they weren't able to do that, so there were some masks that you saw, and you also explore a world and basically kind of went about it.
This team was one of the ones I spend the most time with, and I loved spending time with them. I just got really, I loved everyone. Like everyone I met, it was great talking to them, and I'm not sure why. Maybe I just enjoy like helping out and just talking to them.
Yeah.
But they had a little bit of a tough time at first, like gathering like the group.
True that. Yeah.
But along they gained more and more. Like some people, they along the way, more people, joined the team, and it was you had people of all kinds of like there was this. There was a programmer, and they had 2 or 3 programmers.
No, actually, yeah, and something interesting that happened in that group was that one of the programmers, they made the game
did not
in
know
Unity.
how to not know how to work at Unity at all. He had to improvise.
And he was able to I remember at the beginning he was like, I'm not gonna work on Unity. I hate Unity. Unity is like the worst. And eventually he kind of like worked on it and was able to to actually help them.
Though to be fair, he decided he never wanted to touch Unity again.
True that.
But it was definitely kudos to him, man, and the fact that he made it through, both days. And they had this 2D artist, this 2D Flash artist, and there was this other 3D artist, and there was also one of the first members. She was an artist as well, and they all managed to get something together, and it looked good. It looked very nice. It was like this low poly type of art, which was just very nice. And there's 2 more. There's 2 more.
Games, the other game was about a Hibaro, or just like a pixelated Hibaro.
Campo Defender, I think it was.
It was called Campo Defender. Hibaro is also
and it had the cutest sprites.
It had It was.
Although the chick sprites was really, really nice. Those were the best sprite games.
That was another sprite game, and it was basically like a tower defense kind of game where you were defending your house from zombies, and basically you had a machete and you were going to town with with zombies and destroying them and trying to deal with them because the zombies kind of reacted to the different climate changes that happen in the game. So if it rained, like I believe they went faster or something like that. So you kind of had to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, when it rained, the character went slower. Your character.
Oh, okay.
When
Yeah.
it was winter, the zombies,
Run faster.
became faster.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
okay.
when it was sunny, I think you were faster.
Oh,
So there
that's
were
really
different modes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. Again, Misael knows more about the rules than I do. About and lastly, again,
I need to take a screenshot of the sprite because I want it as a wallpaper. It was just so, it
no,
looked
yeah,
so
it was
cool.
really cool. It was really cool.
Yeah.
There was also another game, which was a game where you were in different. It was like a puzzle game. You were in different rooms of a house, and you had to make each one of the lights in the house match with each other.
Yeah.
And the way, again, it was kind of like you have to understand how the sequence of the like what happened when you change one of the colors, how it made the other colors change. And it was kind of a puzzle in that sense. You had to kind of understand which one to open first, or open like to change first and then change second, and all that, to the point where you change them all to one specific color. And that was also really, really interesting. And
yeah, I love the dynamic with this team. Was really interesting since the beginning. They worked like clockwork. I was really impressed how they worked, and and where they got. Every team, every team definitely pulled through, and it was just it was super fun.
No, yeah, definitely. There was another game that was about a cat that was trying to get back to his humans, because the human represented his home. Sadly, the ones making the game weren't able to make it to the last day. Hopefully, they're okay. But that was also really interesting. And
I love that it was an all-girls team. Now, they did tell me that they had like another like a friend that was male, but it was great. I loved seeing that. I loved there aren't that many girls in the game industry. It was just refreshing to see them.
There was even one team that I believe that at the end, like the leader of the team was female.
Oh yeah.
And she was the one like they were. Basically, I told them to say anything about the game or to talk about the game, and they were all kind of looking at each other, and she was like, "Give me that," and then she just started talking about the game, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, that's awesome."
Everyone's skill definitely shown. It was a nice experience to definitely I guess polish up, and definitely just stand up and like pull through. And something that definitely Game Jam. It was nice to see how people just kind of work through issues and to get something done at the end.
And by the way, there was a lot of collaboration as well, because even the guy that made the game on his own, I believe that the music in that game was from a musician from another group.
Oh, nice!
So
that's great.
Yeah, like they were able to kind of find each other and basically help each other out to finish the games. Oh, actually, there was one that we didn't mention, the one from Bethesda.
Yeah. How could I forget?
Yeah, like the game that kind of was again, it's not a joke, right? Because it's not the game itself is
it's a meme. It's a meme.
Yeah, it's a meme game. Yeah. But everybody loved that. Everyone was just laughing the whole time.
Yeah.
That was great. I don't know if I want to explain what happens because it kind of spoils it. I believe that if you are listening to this and you're interested, you should play it.
Yeah, just browse through the games. The Puerto Rico Global Game Jams 2019.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the name of it. It has to do something with Fallout and or Bethesda. But you'll figure it out. You should find it.
You'll know if you know what.
You'll know when you see it.
Yeah.
You know when you see it.
So we had a lot of different things, and it was really, really cool. And again, if we're missing one game, let us know in the comments. But it's not because we don't want to mention it. It's just because, right? There are many games, and we were basically dealing with a lot of stuff in the event. But before we move on and we go to the last stuff of the podcast, Kevyn, what was your guys' game about?
Oh, like yours, you had a team about 2 girls, right? They made a game about a cat.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
On Saturday, we had the stream on, and we saw a guy working on a 3D game, another guy with the phone and the chick jumping.
Yeah.
And then we got to the 2 girls working on a game with a cat. And we were surprised because our game was about a cat that was adopted. And the family that adopted it did not treat it well, did not give him food, bathe him, whatever. So the cat tried to escape, and the cat tries to find a new house. So each house, you have to battle against someone. That means that the house owner, the house is not a home, but a house, just hosting someone that is not a good person. And by the end, you find a house with an old lady, and the old lady has pets, and because of the love that she shows you, and that's a home for you, for the cat.
Okay, wow, that's nice. But I mean, it's different. It's interesting that you guys did something similar. But it's actually different. Yeah.
It's even more different because some ideas we throw out there was to make the cat transform into a boy by the end. So it's very, very
that's
weird
interesting.
to see.
Yeah.
To see the cat transform.
And were you able to finish it, or?
We couldn't add some concepts. We had like narration and stuff, but we got the simple idea out. So I think it could be considered finished.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, again, it's interesting that people thought, because I actually saw in another stream that people were actually working with animals as well. So, and we also had the turtle one, right? So people kind of also thought about that idea. But everybody did something very different. I don't remember exactly what happened with the dog one that I saw. But again, it's interesting that we had 2 games where cats were featured, but they were basically very different from each other. So yeah, that's super, super interesting.
Kevyn, do you wanna tell them like the reason for the plot twist? Or the reason behind it? Okay.
There's a reason.
I don't remember. It was the guy from the UPR University that gave me the idea.
Oh, really?
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't remember why.
I guess that when you know, you have to put it in the comments or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, so again, we could potentially talk about a lot of stuff that happened in the event, because we had also speakers in the event, and they were all really great.
I got to try the HoloLens, which was amazing. I remember when I first heard about it, I wanted to try it, and I got the chance, and it was really nice. I saw the future.
We saw that. They talked about Animbots, which is like something that helps you animate.
Oh, and I'm sorry, it wasn't the HoloLens. It was a Magic Leap.
Yeah, exactly.
No, Microsoft, we didn't use it. You should send a HoloLens to us, and we can talk about how amazing it is.
We had that. We also had a speaker talk about art and the art pipeline, basically. So to let people know, right, how things kind of go from conception to basically making the 3D object and making the texture for it and all the stuff. And finally, we also had a speaker talk about marketing without a budget, which is really interesting because that's kind of the case for many developers in general. Or at least many indie developers, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
We had that, and to all the speakers that were present there, you know that we appreciate what you did. So again, we're basically not mentioning names right now. I don't know exactly why, but we kind of started that way, so I guess we're gonna keep going that way. So whatever. But we appreciate all of you. Really, we do.
Thank you.
You know who you are. Again, if you want to know who they are,
we can
you can
place
go,
them on the list. We can add them to the
through
to the
that.
description
And
or
again,
something.
To the description,
if you go to the Facebook page of the Global Game Jam Puerto Rico, like you can see everybody there. So again,
pictures and videos and
Yeah.
for the presentations.
Oh yeah,
But
by the way,
I like the page, so
Museo de Videojuegos actually went there and was kind of
Oh yeah,
they took a lot of pictures and it was really awesome. They were able to cover the event, which is again, as you were saying, Carlo, at the beginning, and I wanted them to cover not only San Juan but Fajardo as well and all the other places if possible. But yeah, like we didn't really have that much coverage for the event, or basically none. For the main media, like TV or newspapers and all that stuff. To be fair, we were kind of going through a very difficult spot. And I say going as if it has gone away, but I believe it's still happening as this podcast is to this podcast date. But it was like a surge in criminal behavior in Puerto Rico, and basically a lot of people were being killed. So whenever we approached the different news sites, they were kind of like, so if we have time after covering all of this, we'll go there. And I guess that sadly they weren't able to go there, even though I do believe that it would have been a really good like some good news, for people to hear that stuff like this was happening. So yeah, hopefully next time we are not competing with something as bad as that, and yeah, they were able to cover it because, as far as I understand, they were all interested. It's just that the timing didn't work out. So sadly,
the silver lining to all of this, though, was that sadly this was going on, and it can still be seen. The people, this was going on. The game jam was going on.
Yeah,
and it's sure there were a lot of bad things, but this game jam was definitely something that was really good. And it's something that, whether it was reported or not, sadly, I'm glad it happened, because the way it impacted me was great, and I'm pretty sure to everyone that was there, it was just very special. So,
definitely. So I guess that before we leave, per se, do you guys want to say, I guess, an overview of how you saw the event? And I guess in your case, Carlo and Kevin, you can basically talk about, your site specifically. But how you saw the event, what you were expecting, right, and how it kind of panned out. Just basically what you would do, not necessarily differently, but maybe what you hope, right, that changes in the next one. Because we did that right in the first episode of talking about a game jam. So it will be interesting if we do it this time, and then next year we're able to kind of see what was done, right, of those things that were mentioned. So you guys can start first, Carlo and Kevin. I don't know, Carlo, if you want to take this one.
All right. I guess I'll start first, and then let Kevin go finish it off. So let's see. So I like the dynamic, at least, and it was compared to the previous game jams, the organizers, at least like myself, I would not participate per se. Even though in the last game jam, I started like doodling with coding and whatnot, see what came out with it. I did that with Manny a little bit, very briefly though, because I was pretty like tired. It was like 4 a.m. by that time. So it wasn't that much, but like in this case, Kevin was also was an organizer and also a participant, and so that was a pretty neat dynamic. And I was able to assist whenever I could, at least in the coding part, even though I haven't used GameMaker in a while.
Yeah.
But it was a neat interaction and dynamic between all the team and also myself.
Yeah.
And there was always food for. I guess that's one of the pros of having like a small amount of people. You don't have to cover that much expenses for food.
Yeah, true.
Just get like a family meal from Burger King or one large pizza from
any place. Yeah.
We get it from Pizza Hut. Yeah. So I guess that's like one of the pros. I guess I'd like to see like what is the percentage of kids that are actually interested in that field and actually might have equipment to be able to participate for like future game jams. Because that is something that slightly concerns me, I suppose, at a certain level.
Yeah.
Because I don't want just people showing up and just giving brief feedback from time to time. Because I, as an incentive, I tried to, I offered 15 bonus points in two of my classes. See if people would go for that.
And even though some people just like 2 or 3 students show up for that.
Yeah. Only 2 or 3.
There was a professor there participating on the event that to all his classes on Atlantic, he gave it a note for being part of the event. So almost, I think 18 students went to the event to participate and get an A+.
Yeah.
So yeah, I tried doing that. I'm really grateful for like what the director of science and technology was able to do, and also the administration of La Inter de Fajardo. Like they were able to at least like put a banner of the Game Jam on the website.
Yeah,
I guess the tough part there is that I don't think many people actually visit the Inter website for news and updates on on events going on. At least I don't. I'm not sure if Kevin, you do.
Only when it's like class and the teachers tells us to just enter Blackboard or the web.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like, put a little bit of effort on their side, so I appreciate that. But hopefully next time there'll be more numbers and the people who participate.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kevin, I guess I'll let you take it from now.
Okay. So my biggest concern would be like promotion, like I said at the beginning.
Yeah.
We have to start moving from the day we decide to participate in it, because leaving it to the last minute is really, really hard. It's not a good option. It's not healthy. Also, just help more people inside the university, like practicing, so that when the time comes, they have no doubts and they can just go straight to it and don't have any doubts as to how to do it or what to do.
Yeah.
And I guess that's it. Just move on my organization and teach more people inside the university, get more people moving on it.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that completely. And hopefully, again, next time, the other sites get way more people, and the fact that we started it, right? We started this idea of making other people make sites, may make it easier for next time, right? Maybe the infrastructure is now created a little bit, so that next time you don't have to jump through the same hurdles, I guess, to get it going. And yeah, you can start promotion before and all that. We actually haven't talked about a lot from the Mayagüez point of view, but kind of like, do you know anything about how it went over there and what they told you about?
Based on what they told me, so take this like with a grain of salt, since it's not like I was constantly communicating with them. But around 8 people showed up, if I'm not mistaken, and participated. They worked pretty much all the way through until Sunday, which then they I guess they felt like they weren't able to complete as much as they expected or hoped for.
Yeah.
So they kind of gave up at that point, and then just left. But they like had like some of the music done apparently, and I imagine they did some programming and some other aspects of the game.
Okay.
But then at some point they like divided into more groups, if I'm not mistaken, or they like, I don't know, I'm not sure how the dynamic was over there. I wish there was like an organizer from iOS who could like explain it well.
No, and we invite them. Like if one of them listens to the podcast and they want to say their like just their perspective on their site, you can post it in the comments or on Facebook or anything, and we'll share it so people know your side of things as well.
Yeah, definitely. But like, I really appreciate like the organizers for at least like going through the motions and doing a pretty good job organizing and making sure they're on top of the different factors that one has to keep in mind when organizing a game jam.
True.
And they kept in like contact with me. We set up meetings so I could answer them any questions that they had.
Yeah.
So they were like.
And you would think that that's something that everybody did, but not everybody did. There are many things many moments where we're like, we have to reach out again or something, and we were never sure if what we said had reached them or something. So, and to be fair, like in Mayya West, we kind of had to go through many iterations of that, of who would take care of that of that side of things over there.
Yeah.
So
I had to go through several associations before we finally landed on one that was willing to.
So again, and we are really glad and we really appreciate the job that you guys did in both Fajardo and Mayya West. So it's awesome that you guys were able to make it happen. And I know, Carlo, again, in your case, I know you were gonna make it happen because you told me this is gonna happen regardless. Like the Fajardo one is gonna happen no matter what. And again, but the fact that you were able to do it in the way that you wanted to do it, it was, or at least in the best way that you saw possible, right? It was really, really cool, and like we really appreciate the job that you guys did. And Kevyn, welcome to the fold in that sense. Working on stuff like this, and I guess for us in San Juan, Manny, I don't know if you want to say something. What's your perspective on it?
From Fajardo and Mayya West, like, and us too, like making events. Like I have a little experience, not in this type of events, but like my family made a lot of events, and like being around development of an event or organizing an event is not easy, and your first event is not gonna be like a full like something that like Comic-Con. It's not gonna be that big.
Exactly.
It's something that you're going year by year and putting your name up there and getting some experience, making it 1 year after easier and better, and changing some things and improving yourself and improving the event. So making this year the event in Fajardo and Mayya West and trying to make it in Ponce is something that is gonna open a door, and indeed open a door, because next year we're gonna do it again, and maybe we're gonna have more people, and maybe it's gonna be better than this year, because Carlo, you and I last year we did the event. We didn't expect people that were gonna participate in the event because of the storm. It was not easy going to the event and staying there and like providing food. It was not easy, like to find sponsors and food for the whole event. But people went. People participated in the event. People enjoyed the event. People wanted more of the event. The event ended, and they were asking if we were gonna make another event in the year.
Yeah.
That's true.
So yeah, that's part of everything. And this year we had a lot of more people. I think the last year we had like 30 or 40 people participating. This year we have almost 60 people. And, it's getting bigger and it's getting better. We having more sponsors to run the whole event. That's a great thing because, putting the money to run this event is not easy. Like I sat down with Gabriel and he took some numbers out and, when we saw the numbers, we like, yeah, thank you sponsors. Like, thank you. Yeah, for you guys hearing this, like trying to make an event is not like just waking up and let's do that event and yourself out there. It's not that, and making video games is not easy too.
Yeah, exactly.
So next year it's gonna be better, and next year is gonna be even better, and then we're gonna improve ourselves. We're gonna improve the whole event, and I know that people are gonna enjoy it more, and more people are gonna join the whole event, and get something out of it. Because sometimes we're so busy in our life, like we love video games and we wanna make video games, but sometimes we involve ourselves doing something different, like having a different job, not based on video games, like based on something else. That we forget about our dream, about our goals, what we want out of life.
Yeah. That
we focus on something else and we lose track of our dreams. And making type of events, like taking 48 hours a weekend to just sit down, invest your talent, your time, your knowledge, or getting to know people that are working in this area and getting something out of them and knowing those people. That's part of this. That's part of doing this. Like, we don't do this to win something. We do this for the whole community to get bigger and be better, like a whole family. Because here in Puerto Rico, we're just a lot of people in one island with a lot of water and and everything place. So we are here together to move this forward, and we are doing this for you guys to enjoy that 48 hours. Have a little bit of headache, but get better on your talents, knowing what are you gonna do and improving your skills.
Sure. Yeah. I think that you said everything that had to be said about the experience. And Misael, what's your perspective?
Yeah, no, pretty much I'll keep writing on what Manny was saying. When everyone, when each and everyone improves or, it's inspired to keep going on and to keep improving, getting better, and teaching others and giving them a break. We all, the game industry in Puerto Rico, it gets better for everyone.
Yeah.
And not just here. I mean, that's something that definitely universally applies. Game industry, regardless of the fact that it's definitely growing bigger and bigger, it's sometimes it still feels very small, and you notice that giving back, whoever it is, helping others learn and get out there, get their games out there. It helps everyone. It's something that by us pitching in, it just helps. So it's I'm glad we did this, and that we can aid and the people who have a passion for this as the same as we do. And I hope it can continue year after year, and hopefully seeing this community grow and get better and just make a name for ourselves, for developers and indies here and in Puerto Rico.
No, I agree completely with that. And Yeah, from my perspective, I didn't know if I was gonna be able to do this. In fact, I was so afraid that I was gonna like screw something up or something like that. I mean, Misael and Manny know that I wasn't able really to sleep that much, like throughout the whole 48 hours. And before the event, I barely slept, like maybe 3 hours or something throughout the whole thing. And because I just like in my head I was just going like through every single permutation of every possible possibility of anything going awry and me having to fix it, or knowing who to call, like maybe call Misael if he was there at that moment, or Manny, he was there at that moment, and see who could be able to deal with it before I got there. And maybe anyway, like just trying to make a plan for every single possibility, right? It was really nice when I went back and looked at it, that, as you were saying, Manny, like everything that we planned just went like we planned it. So it was very refreshing to feel that all this time of working and trying to plan stuff for games and for the company, all that stuff, like worked for making sure that this event was also very well organized, and we were able to make it happen. And to be honest, like I was really tired, and after the event I just kind of like just felt like a rock on my bed to sleep, and to be able to get all that energy back. But throughout the event I just kind of really, everything that gave me energy was the idea of being there for them, being there for them and being there for the community, and I fed off of their passion, to really to be there and to keep working on it. For example, I stayed the second day, just the second, yeah, like the from the 26th to the 27th. And you were saying, Misael, right, that people were kind of crunching at that time, and I was able to actually see them crunching, and actually, like, there was a group that like two of them went to sleep while the other two were working, and then when the other two woke up, then the other two went to sleep, and then they were working. So they were able to even create that sense of that idea of how we can make the most of the time that we have, and just the fact that they felt comfortable in the place to do it, and that we were able to provide that was super awesome and super. I don't know, as you were saying, Misael and Manny, like it's super inspiring, right? To see that happen. And yeah, again, at one point, Manny, you told me you saw a lot of people working, and you told me like, can you imagine this, like this being a company, like all these people working?
Oh wow, yeah.
All these passionate people working, and I was like, I believe, yeah. I mean, at the time, I think I told you, yeah, that would be awesome. But I think that's what we're, by doing this type of event, that's what we're working towards, right? Helping
definitely.
them get better at their talent. Some of them are already amazing, but we need more and more and more people to join. And the fact that, Carlo, you had the idea to involve as many people as possible and to shoot for 90, right? For 90 people
Yeah.
Again, we got more than 90 people interested in the event. The fact that they didn't go, again, is their loss, I guess, for those that didn't go. But we were able to get people interested in the event, and many people weren't even able to go to the event or get tickets because they were sold out, right? So the interest was there, and we didn't think that more than maybe 80. When we first thought about a number, I remember that I told you 80, and you were like, that might be pushing it, but yeah, let's go for it. I believe that maybe 100 will be like just wishful thinking. So yeah, let's go for that. And again, to be fair, of course we didn't get to 80, but again, we got a lot of people excited and interested in what we were doing, and I believe that's just part of the steps to get to what Manny was saying, right?
Definitely one of the marks, I think, of how successful it was during the show and tell that everyone gave at the end.
Yeah, true.
One of the things that we constantly heard was whether they they continue or not. A lot of things we heard was like people were saying, the groups were saying, we would love to keep working on this.
Yeah, exactly.
We would love to keep going. And that was the point.
True that. Yeah, and again, I'm really grateful to everybody. The sponsors were really awesome. They stuck to their word, and they basically did everything that they said that they would. Again, people were really happy, as you were saying, Manny, really happy with the event. And again, it was really awesome to meet new people as well. I was always very concentrated on Batu, and I met people that were close to Batu, but necessarily like people that weren't that close. And through this event, I was able to meet a lot of people from the talent pool here on the island. And Kevyn, I also met you through this. So now I know there's even other people that are also working on stuff like this, even elsewhere, right? So again, I believe that Carlo, your plan worked perfectly, and I'm glad to have been part of making it happen, right? Making it. I remember that I told you. Yeah, like. You were saying that you didn't even know if you were gonna be able to do it this time because there wasn't necessarily that much at the time. There wasn't that much. Many people said that they might be able to help you, but I remember even Manny, like you were kind of you had a lot of things going on, right? So you weren't sure if you will be able to really help out. So I remember I told Carlo, like, let's do it. Let's make it part of Batu. Let's make it part of something that Batu is doing, so that we can get the excuse to work on it. And to really put it part of our efforts, and to do what you guys said, right? That maybe involve more of the local companies into doing this as well. And we were able to do it. So that's super awesome.
That was something that we talked about last year, that like there's a lot of groups and companies here in Puerto Rico, but we have to give an opportunity for them to go out and be heard about their projects and what they're doing. Sure. And this type of event is a great place to do that and find people with great talent to be part of that group or that event. So it's part of this. If we don't do this, like, we're affecting ourselves and affecting the whole community, because we are not helping each other to move forward, and we are not doing that. We are doing this type of events to do that. So
exactly,
that's great, and I thank you guys for the opportunity to be part of this event and to move. Not even me, the whole group that I know that love this type of event, because I didn't tell you guys, but the whole people that I know that went to the event and participated, they were really, really thankful for the whole event, because there's nothing like this right now that they can take the time to participate.
True.
Yeah.
There's not another game jam or something that is almost the same. So being part of the event to get to know people is great, and love to help the whole community to move forward. Because if I don't do my part, I'm not doing anything. Like, working on a game is something, but not helping someone else to move forward, not like, not great.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And like for next time, I'd welcome all the help I can get, and see if I can establish more connections in other parts of the islands in order to get those jam sites more prominent.
Yeah, let's do a whole company that is gonna manage the whole event here in Puerto Rico, and we're gonna have all 62 like
municipalities.
Yeah, have an event, every single one.
Yeah, again, that would be amazing.
That'd be great.
Yeah. So yeah, again, we went way over the limit, but again, I don't mind because there's a lot to say really about this event. You want to know anything else about the game? We are again. You can go to the Facebook page, and there's a lot of information there about what happened. So you can just ask us there, or just as a comment to this video. But for now, again, I guess we're signing off. But Carlo, you first. Like, is there anything that you would like to plug?
Let's see. I'd like to give a shout out to those who are, promoting a healthy space for local game developers, such as the Discord server.
Yeah, true.
Also, Puerto Rico Game Developers Hangout. Also, Puerto Rico Desarrolladores de Entretenimiento. That one's in Spanish. So yeah, I appreciate those Facebook groups and also the Discord server for giving that space for local developers to network, show their work, and give each other the opportunities and so on.
True. Kevyn, do you want to plug something?
I just want to say thank you to you guys for this opportunity. Also, the students that participated and the people that sponsored us. If it wasn't for them, we couldn't be here.
True that. Yeah. Manny, do you want to plug something?
That's to be thankful for everything and the sponsors. Every one of them. It's great for being part of this event, and everything. It would not be possible without those guys. Thanks for.
I'm gonna put the sponsors on the comments as well, so people know, just in case.
Yeah, definitely.
Misael?
No, thanks for every single one that came. Thanks to every one of the sponsors. And I think more than I did this in order to help out the community, but I think the community in this event gave so much back to me in my experience, and I just want to thank everyone that was part of the events around the island.
Okay, awesome.
I thought
For me,
I thought you were gonna say thank you to my new BFFs and name every single participant who was at the.
Oh yeah, I mean that I wouldn't. Then Gabriel would kick me out because he would just cut all of it.
Yeah, again, it's just we appreciate everybody that went there, but it's just a lot of people to name. But again, you know who you are. Again, if you go, and this is gonna be my plug, but again, really go to the Facebook site and see the pictures and check out everything that we put there. We put all of the talks there, so if you want
to play the games,
if one of the I was gonna get to that as well, but for now, you can also you can also for example, if there's a particular talk that we mentioned that you would like to hear, again, they're all there, and there's also the presentation of the games there. But even better than just hearing about the games, you can play the games as well. And here's where what Misael is saying comes into play. But you can go to the actual site of the Global Game Jam and go to the site of Puerto Rico and go to either San Juan or Fajardo on those sites, and basically play the games. You can download them. I believe that they are basically all for Windows, so you can just check them out as in that sense. And just give the developers your 2 cents about the game and tell them, again, keep in mind they only had 48 hours to work on it, right? So it's it's not finished. It's not it's okay, sure, man. But again, if you can tell them what you think about the game, you think about the idea, that'll be amazing. We might actually be doing some votes at some point, but we're still kind of playing that out. So for now, again, just check them out. That will help everybody. So anyway, again, you have those things to do. Some homework, I guess, we're leaving you to do. But it's really cool homework. So again, that's the cool homework that you would like to always do. But anyway, thank you to all of you for watching the episode. Thank you to our patrons for making it happen. And yeah, we'll see you then in the next episode. So
Goodbye.
Later, guys.